Hello and welcome to the Baller Sports Dialogue podcast. It's your co-hosts Brandon Deutsch and Grant Mona, presented by the Sporting Tribune. Man, we got the second round series is on lock. We're going to discuss those, some predictions, it's tough to predict those series, but some outlooks, some player analysis as well. I know we were going to talk some Austin Reeves, the difference in him not committing turnovers, the higher chance of the Lakers winning versus. I mean, it sounds very simple, but if Austin Reeves plays the way he's playing and doesn't commit turnovers, they're likely to win almost every game. Yep. And Davis plays the way he's playing, but let's get right into that series because that is going to be an epic series. Chapter 7 of Curry versus LeBron. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think the winner of that series does go to the finals. I'm not as high on the Suns as everybody else. That's a whole separate conversation.
We've been
in fact, the
like
Nick
that.
Wright comment, everyone clowns Nick Wright, but that was a great comment he had about every single game the Suns won. It got like he was less confident in them getting to the finals. I mean, they blew a 26-point lead to a Kawhi Paul George-less Clippers.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good thing. And they're playing
And
Book and Durant
games
45 minutes.
Almost lost games.
Yeah, and they're playing
34.
Chris Paul 40-plus minutes. He's 38, right? So that's a whole separate conversation. Let's talk Lakers, the most inconsistent team in the league. Some days look dominant. Some days look terrible. We don't know which Lakers we're going to get in this series. Warriors clicking on all cylinders. I said it 1,000 times. They needed to be beaten the first round. Otherwise, it's likely they go on a run. As a Lakers fan, I'm not too confident in this series. I think the Warriors will win this series.
Why do you say that?
I just think
the Lakers beat the Warriors 3 times in the regular season, correct?
That is true. That's true. But the reason why I say that is the Warriors, they know how to win. They know how to win. This Lakers team, I mean, LeBron and Davis, I guess they know how to win because they won a championship. Yeah. But, since then, they haven't won a lot, right? And I know this is a whole roster, and the Warriors have won a lot since then. And, yes, I understand it's a bad matchup. I just love the way Kevon Looney's playing. I think especially if Darvin Ham continues to sit Mo Bamba, not play a lot of bigs, Looney will eat. He'll get offensive rebounds. That could be the difference in those games. And then I also think when it comes down to it, Curry is going to make shots. LA's really bad at defending the three right now. We've seen that with Desmond Bane, Luke Kennard when he's healthy, though he wasn't healthy the last few games. Mm-hmm. But I think he's going to go off. Clay's obviously a big difference maker. Wiggins, I think the Lakers will do a good job on Wiggins more so than the Kings did. The Kings couldn't stop Wiggins, and I think Wiggins was the huge difference in that Kings series because those 16 to 20 points he was having each game were so crucial. They came at big moments. His elite perimeter defense. Draymond's going to be Draymond. I think defensively the Lakers are a bit better. But I think, the Lakers want to slow the game down. They know they got a 38-year-old LeBron. That benefits them. But I do think the Warriors almost unbeatable at home. And if they get one game on the road, at Crypto, that series is over because I don't think the Lakers get one in Golden State.
Really? You don't think they get one? Well,
maybe they get one, but I think look, I'm not going to disrespect my team and be like, I like for the most part, no one thought they could win a series. They won one, right? It's like, I get it, and I'm proud of them, but now they're playing with house money. I think that benefits the Lakers. I think there's more pressure on the Warriors.
Right,
that's
what I'm saying. That's why I think the Lakers are starting 2-10. You didn't really expect to get to the second round, honestly, to play the defending champions, right? And now here you are. Why not go get greedy and play with house money and just play free? I feel like they're going to play more freely now than they did in the first series because in the first series, LeBron never wants to go out in the first round. The only time he's ever gone out in the first round was in a Lakers uniform against Phoenix in 2021. He didn't want to do that again. So that was a lot of pressure on him around the team because they had these championship expectations coming into the playoffs. Now you're going up against the defending champions where it's like, okay, well, we know the Warriors are way more talented, honestly, if we're talking about it. They have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, who played sensational in that first-round series. I mean, he was back to prime Klay. I think he still is prime Klay. He might be better than prime Klay with his shooting numbers. So this Warriors team, yes, they're really good, but if I'm the Lakers, I give them a chance not only because they took 3 against them in the regular season, which that's a pretty big sample size. You take 3 games against a team in the regular season, you can probably match up well with them. And that was 2 without the new team that the Lakers have, the trade deadline team that they have. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm saying, okay, we beat them already in the regular season. We know that we can match up with them. We have one of the best players of all time. They have one of the best players of all time. That kind of cancels out. I'll take Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson. That kind of cancels out. Then you go, okay, like Jordan Poole against Austin Reeves. I'll take Reeves, right? Like kind of the same thing that we did with the Clippers-Suns series where we kind of like went position by position. I like the Lakers in terms of their depth, but in terms of talent that the Warriors have, I think they have the slight edge. But matchup-wise, I think it's really good for the Lakers. They have an awesome defense, which the Warriors kind of don't. They've showed it in the first round, but they don't have as good of a defense, I think, as the Lakers.
It's going to be about Anthony Davis. We've said this 1,000 times.
How many times do we have to say this?
How many times do we have to say this? How many times does it have to go through his head that he needs to score 30 points and have 15-plus rebounds for the Lakers to have a chance against good teams? Like, I mean, I'm surprised they won Game 3 with that awful, abysmal game that he had. And it's the cycle. It's like good game, bad game, amazing. Is this guy the best player in the NBA? Is he top 5? Is he, why is he? And then the next game, it's like, why are we even considering him top 10? He's terrible.
He's trade bait.
Yeah, he's trade bait, right? And then he's back to, like, this guy's so dominant. More consistency is needed, like 80 in the bubble, for the Lakers to win a championship. The reason why Memphis got 2 games was Davis. It was. And part of it was Darvin Ham, obviously, for taking Davis out and putting Troy Brown Jr. in when, they had just tied the game almost. But I mean, Game 2, if Davis plays a little better in Game 2, they win that game. That's the difference. Yeah. And the series would have already been over. It wouldn't have even had to come back to L.A., right? And then in Game 5, Davis played great, but everyone else didn't play well. Right. So it kind of averaged out. It's very simple. If the Lakers want to beat the Warriors, Anthony Davis is going to need to be excellent in every single one of those 4 games they win if they want to win that series.
And defensively, he's been excellent. Like, we got to give him his props. Yeah. Defensively, he's just playing out of his mind. But Defensive Player of the Year status.
But this is what I'll say. He's done a great job shutting down Jaren Jackson Jr. in the first series, right? Yeah. But the Warriors, they are guard heavy. Davis, he's not going to go out and guard the perimeter. He can, but maybe Wiggins a few times. Draymond's not going to get anything. Looney's not going to get anything. But
so who's
going to guard Steph?
That's
no one can really guard Steph.
Who does Vanderbilt guard?
He has to guard Klay. Because
Clay's
really 6'7", right?
What the Warriors do very well, and this is why for the Warriors you could say this, is that they just run around the court and screens,
illegal screens.
Yes, a lot of movement screens, but they run around the court all the time. Do the Lakers have a guy that Austin Reeves? But then you're going to tire him out on the other end.
You need him on offense.
Exactly. That's the thing with the Warriors that a lot of Laker fans don't understand, is that when you run around on defense trying to chase these guys, you have to go and play offense on the other end. And with LeBron at 38 and Anthony Davis as injury prone as he is, can they hold up? Can they?
Can they hold up?
That's the big thing.
I don't know. I mean,
that's
where
you would say it's a tough match.
Is this their last chance to win a championship?
The Warriors?
No, the Lakers.
No. Next year, if they go into next year with this roster, they could be
but LeBron, he showed his age.
It's fine. He'll have a full offseason to recover. He'll probably get surgery on that foot, which I think he should, because I don't think it's fully healed. His burst is not the same. His explosiveness.
He can still get to the rim.
He can still get to the rim because of his strength. But I'm saying his burst off of that foot is not the same anymore. That's something that I've seen. He's still an elite player. We can't take that away from LeBron. As old as he is, he's still a very, very elite player. But even before the injury, he was excellent. He's probably the top 3 player in the league.
Anthony Davis has to be the best player in a championship team for them to win, right? Because LeBron can he be the best player in a championship team anymore? Is he the best player in this team?
LeBron, yes,
Anthony Davis.
Still slightly, because Anthony Davis is so wildly inconsistent. I kind of know, LeBron's going to give me elite play in one category every game. Either rebounding, which he did in that Game 5, or points. He can put up 35-plus at any point in time.
He had a really bad Game 5, everything.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen Braun have, in a playoff series, have,
Sorry, Game 4 was when he got 20 rebounds. I said Game 5
that was a great game. Yeah. I see your point. I think it's going to be probably the best second-round series. It's really going to push teams.
Really?
It's going to push teams to the brink. Yeah, because I
think...
Suns
Nuggets? Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah, that'll be a good series. But, I mean, Celtics will probably beat the Sixers in 6 or 5 or something like that.
I hope they do. Sixers
I hope they don't. As much as I hate the Sixers.
Because
I hate the Celtics. Yeah. Come on, dude. Plus,
it sucks for you.
I hate it when...
There's 2 teams that you don't like.
2 teams I don't... And the Warriors, if they beat us.
Oh, my God.
Then it's like last year. Who do I root for? I had to root for the Warriors.
Is like
I had to root for the Warriors.
Oh, my God.
It was last year, and that might be a rematch.
Please, NBA,
thank you, Kings, for choking.
NBA, please don't let Warriors Celtics happen. I will take the Knicks and the Lakers over it.
Lakers.
I promise you.
No Suns either. No Suns.
No
I'm
Suns.
fine with the Nuggets making it.
Even the Nuggets and Sixers, as much as I don't like Doc Rivers, please don't give us Warriors Celtics. I want something new.
Oh, I would love the 70s.
I want something new.
I would love if the Lakers were to go to the finals, I'd love Philly. Give me Philly, please. We know they're going to choke at some point.
I don't know.
They're not winning. Which round? I mean, they could go all the way to the finals, but they choke. And then James Harden with the most docile slap of all time. The little what did he do? He did like this.
Like a little like.
And then they're like, oh, he had a big slap. It's like, dude, like, come on.
First of all, why is he in Vegas in the middle of a playoff run? I know you have time off, but get in the gym. Like, get recovery. Don't go to Vegas in the middle of a playoff run.
Yeah, I mean,
I know that's
Embiid's going to heal. That's a whole different conversation. I'm with you. I mean, Rodman also went to Vegas at one point, right?
But that's Dennis Rodman. He had like 4 championships at that point.
Yeah. How many is Harden have?
None.
By the way, Rockets, they're going to get back Harden. You're going to get
I've been saying this
trading
for a long
Jalen
time.
Green, Sixers. You get Green, Maxey, and
Embiid
Embiid instead.
I don't want to talk about. I didn't want to mention the Clippers at all, but I'm going to have to. Paul George for Jalen Green sounds really good right now. I'm just going to put that out
Yeah,
there.
but you'd have to find, do they have enough veterans to match the contract of George?
I don't care. Make it happen.
Who do they have?
I
Do
don't
they even
care.
have any
Make it
guys
happen.
that make money? Jashawn Tate, maybe?
Josh
makes
Christopher.
No, Josh Christopher makes $1 million. No one makes over $10 million on that team.
Kenyon Martin Jr.
He makes like $2 million. Jashawn Tate makes 10, I think. So
KPJ has a.
Does he have an
contract.
extension?
He has a big contract. Yeah.
Yeah, but
He's the biggest.
He's the only guy who showed up to Udoka's presser.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah,
So
they're keeping him. I mean, look, I like the Rockets, but if they're going to trade Jalen Green, hey,
Clippers championship next year?
No.
It's okay.
I don't want to talk about the first round anymore.
We're not going to talk. I mean, it sucks because if they were healthy and if they would have beaten the Suns, we all know that.
They're the what-if champions. I don't want to talk about.
I mean, they were healthy in the bubble, but they had Doc Rivers. I'd much rather have Ty Lue coaching than Doc Rivers, and I never thought I'd say that, but like, dude, come on, you'd rather have Ty Lue.
I'd rather have neither, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather have Ty Lue than Darvin Ham coaching right now.
Can we get to Darvin Ham, please? I want to make a point about him because there's a lot of talk about him being on the hot seat and Nick Nurse is available and all this. It's Darvin Ham's first year. He's a spawn of Mike Budenholzer, who just choked in the first round. We got to get to that too. I want to talk about the Bucks choking.
Of course.
But he's a spawn of Mike Budenholzer's staff, and a lot of Laker fans really don't seem too happy when, in actuality, they were 2-10 and now they're in the second round of the playoffs. It's kind of crazy to me how Laker fans switch that. It's his first year. Give him a break. It's his first year as a head coach.
I get it.
And he gets you guys to the second. If I told you when they were 2-10, you will be playing the Warriors in the second round of the playoffs. I have the crystal ball. You will be playing the Warriors in the second round of this year's playoffs. Would you take it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm happy.
And we're getting on Darvin Ham.
And I'm happy. Look,
he's Doc Rivers.
Yeah, but now Lakers fans are like, oh, we need a championship or bust. It's like, no,
It's like,
let's calm down. Let's calm down.
That's the thing.
Well, I don't think like that. I don't expect us to win this year. If we do, great. I'll be super happy. All I wanted was that series win. Starting off 2-10. All I wanted was a series win, and we got it. So to me, I can just enjoy the playoffs now. I'm not expecting us to beat the Warriors.
But here's the thing. I understand the hate that he gets because some of the rotations are kind of boneheaded. I understand that.
It's a Budenholzer.
Yeah,
kind of
I think it's a Budenholzer thing.
No
but
timeouts.
Like not playing Mo Bamba, not playing Malik Beasley over Lonnie Walker. Troy Brown has not been good. I mean, I know you can't really take him out because he's got wing depth. You kind of need wing defenders. But there's a lot of things that Darvin Ham does that I don't like, but there's a lot of things that you can kind of just say, okay, well, he's great at. He's great at motivating the guys. He does know defense. Like, their defense is really good.
Yeah, that's the one thing he does know. He knows how to implement defense. And I think that's what Giannis was really mad about, too, because that was his boy, by the way.
Yeah, so for me, Darvin Ham is not going to get fired. I know Nick Nurse. There's a lot of talk. Nick Nurse to the Lakers.
Nick Nurse does no offense either.
Right, exactly. So what are you going to – I mean, Nick Nurse didn't do a fantastic – he won a championship in his first year and then sucked after that.
Kawhi and everybody else.
After that, he didn't do good. So, what can you say?
By the way, Nick Nurse, worst offensive schemes I've ever seen, possibly. I mean, like – dude, he literally plays. Yeah, he plays like OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes.
What is he gonna play?
They play like 40 minutes and they're jacking up. None of them can shoot. Well. I don't know who their shooting coach is. None of them can shoot. Trent even forgot how to shoot at the end of the year. It seems like Nurse doesn't know how to implement offense. He'll keep you in games because he's such a great defensive-minded coach. But then, like, if those are the two guys, I mean, Ham already does that.
Right.
He keeps you in games because of his defense.
Like,
right?
you're going to get Frank Vogel back? No.
I like Frank Vogel.
Yeah, but you're not going to get him back if you just hired.
Well, Frank Vogel also had awful rotations.
Yes, but my thing is, like, just it's his first year. He got you to this point. Be grateful for that.
Let's get Eric
now,
Spoelstra.
Look, if you go into next year with this same team and they struggle, they don't perform up to, because I think they could be a top 3 seed next year if they go into the year with this team. If they struggle next year, then you can have some considerations about firing them mid-year. But right now, like, calm down. I know some of the rotations are bad, but calm down. You're in the playoffs. You're going to be playing the defending champs, even after the series. Don't get mad.
Let me ask you this. What do you think about Ham's comments? We weren't even supposed to be here, so, like, this isn't, like, you know, like, when people are like, oh, is it a failure? You got to Game 6. Is it a failure? Guys might not win a championship. He's like, we have no pressure. We were
it's true.
2-10.
It's true. They're the 7 seed.
Yeah,
People forget that. They're the 7 seed.
I don't have a problem with that comment. I agree with you. I
people had a problem with that?
Yeah,
Who had a problem with that?
Yeah, because everybody on Twitter and Lakers Twitter.
Why are they mad at that?
Because they're like, oh, he should have said we're going to win a championship.
Okay.
There's pressure. And it's like, dude, you know how hard it is to win a championship?
Yes.
Like, dude, that's why what the Warriors are doing are so impressive. They never go away. I hate the Warriors, but they play beautiful basketball.
It's so nice.
They move off ball. They're always moving. Those illegal screens, they get away with all of them.
It's so nice. It's frustrating.
Yeah, and they have championship players, man. And once Wiggins came back, it was the Kings have to beat him or they're going to the finals, right? Like, it's like, what are you doing? And to me, it's like so annoying. But I do want to talk about Jimmy Butler, who's Michael Jordan's son.
Wow.
We all know he's Michael Jordan's son.
He
has to be, right? The shot, the no timeouts by Coach Bud. Ham's guy, by the way, that was his coach. He was the assistant coach to Mike Budenholzer. No timeout with the 0.5 seconds after to advance the ball in regulation. Took Brook Lopez out, so they weren't guarding the rim. Then in overtime, you have 9 seconds. You force a stop. You have 9 seconds, 8 seconds. He doesn't call a timeout, and Grayson Allen dribbles the game clock out. Grayson Allen.
Why Grayson Allen has that ball in that time?
Giannis shouldn't have passed it. He should have just kept going to the rim.
And Chris Middleton had a shot too, and he passed it.
Yeah, and that was a guy with 30 points in that game. I don't get that.
It's just like the Bucks turned into the Clippers. It's like, what happened to that team? Because that team all year, we were saying, this is the title favorites. They look dominant. They're beating everybody. They won like 16 in a row at one point. And then Miami comes in and says, we have the best player in the playoffs right now. We're just going to come beat you with 5. No Tyler Hero.
He's what Kawhi should have been.
Right. Like
Jimmy Butler.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around how it happened, because every game it just looked like the Bucks gave up. It's like they didn't even have the effort. They didn't have the energy that the Heat had. They weren't getting loose balls. They weren't playing the right.
They blew Game 4. They blew
Drew Holiday
Game 5.
Didn't look good. Like,
he looked terrible.
What
Offensively,
happened?
especially.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's hats off to Eric Spoelstra making adjustments. Jimmy Butler. They looked abysmal in that playing game against Atlanta.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be out in 4.
I thought the Bulls were going to beat him at one point. I mean, they looked terrible. And then Jimmy, we saw the frustration for him about this team, where he left the court. Remember when that loss against the Magic later on in the year? And we were like, everyone thought this team was a mess. Bam Adebayo, terrible. Tyler Hero now hurt. He was bad when he was playing. Now all of a sudden, they have a chance to get all the way to the finals. Like, it's just because they have Jimmy Butler. And look, we say it a lot. The best player in the series usually wins. Who was the best player in the Lakers-Grizzlies series? I still think it was. I mean, that's a
good
tough
question.
One. I still think it was probably LeBron.
Yeah,
LeBron, right?
It was somebody. Well, John Morant was awesome towards the end of the series.
Yeah, but he had won a couple games where he wasn't.
Good. And he was hurt.
And he was hurt. But he played great. But I think LeBron was the best player in that series. And you could make the argument Davis or Austin Reeves, all 3. So all Lakers, right? Maybe Morant was the only one. Bane was great the last few games, but still, Dylan Brooks, best player on the court. No, I'm kidding.
Worst in the whole playoffs.
Dude, he averaged 26 points per game.
Marcus Morris played.
Wait. Dylan Brooks averaged 26 points per game in a playoff series a few years ago
against the Jazz. He looked like Paul George when he's healthy. Paul George.
Yeah, I mean, I was high on him, but then he started running his mouth.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him.
It's here.
You think it's there? I do think it's there because
I think he has talent.
Yeah,
I think he's a great player.
Great defender. Like
he can shoot, and all of a sudden he can't shoot anymore. It's got to be up here, and I think he created that himself by trying to become this villain.
Yeah.
After he knocked down GP last year in the playoffs, it just started going crazy, and then absolutely. But
back to the Heat.
Back to the Heat. They had the best player in that series. He was the best player in that series.
And Kyle Lowry has new knees. What happened to Kyle Lowry?
Got that German treatment.
Yeah, all of a sudden, he was hurt almost all year, in and out of the lineup with injuries. He comes back the later half of the year and in the play-in, and he's putting up 20, 30 points. It's like, Where was what happened? I guess that's what you bring him in for, though, right? Like Pat Riley brings him in because he knows he's a playoff performer. Like even in 2019 when he won the title, he was the second guy.
By the way,
he was good.
Let me apologize to the Knicks because
me too.
I need to apologize. Gosh, I thought the Cavaliers were legit. We both thought the Cavaliers were like title contenders because they had the number one defense in Donovan Mitchell, a guy that could score at will. He did not show up the last 3 games of that series. God. He was terrible.
So bad.
And what we forgot to realize is besides Mitchell and Garland, they have nobody who can go put the ball in the basket. In the Knicks, what happened was they weren't playing defense all year. All of a sudden they started playing defense, and they got guys who can put it in the basket. So what I thought every game was going to be 100 to like 90 and the Cavs would win, right? Because like Cavs play defense. Knicks, they have a great offense, but the Cavs have great defense, and the Knicks don't play defense, so I think it'll average out and the Cavs win. Well, the Knicks started playing amazing defense and
suffocating.
offense.
Like Mitchell Robinson was dominating Jared Allen.
I mean, guys off the bench, Quentin Grimes, McBride, Hartenstein played great. Hartenstein played great.
Another Lawrence Frank boneheaded.
And this is with Randall not even playing that great the whole series.
Randall was hurt. Randall hurt his ankle twice.
And he sucked in the series, and they still dominated.
They benched him. They literally benched him in Game 4.
Yeah, because he was terrible. Brunson's great. We know Brunson's great. By the way, Kyrie and Luka looking at Brunson in the playoffs right now. I think the Knicks have a serious chance in this series. I do think the Heat should be favored just based on what they did, even without Tyler Hero and Oladipo. But man, is that going to be a good series? I think that is one that's a flip a coin.
Oh, really? So how many games do you think it goes?
I think it goes 6.
6?
6 games. I think the Heat close it out at home in Game 6.
I'm just worried because for the Heat, in their standpoint, is that like the Knicks play really fast. Like, who's going to guard Jalen Brunson? You're going to put Caleb Martin on him? You're going to put Lowry on him? Jalen Brunson's going to cook Kyle Lowry on the defensive end. I'm sorry.
It's going to be, yes, but it's going to be about offense. The Heat had the 27th ranked offense in the league this year, and then in the playoffs, they had their first somehow. Somehow.
Kevin Love looks good, too.
Kevin Love looks great. I mean, Duncan Robinson.
This is an old-school matchup. I love
Duncan Robinson's hitting 70% of his threes all of a sudden. What? Max Strus going off. I mean, Gabe Vincent's providing great minutes. I mean,
and they lost Oladipo too.
And
it's
Hero.
Like and Hero, and they. Oh, I have no words.
The thing that worries me is Tibbs knows Butler really well. Obviously, I mean, he coached him in Chicago. So I mean,
but what can you do? You're gonna double him? Like, I guess you could double him.
Yeah, but then guys are hitting shots.
Right, that's the thing.
So you can't double Butler.
So for the Heat standpoint, going up against the Knicks have a damn good team. I'm sorry, Josh Hart has been awesome.
Yep.
Jalen Brunson's been awesome. Mitchell Robinson was a great defender in that first round series.
For
me, I think the Knicks have a slight edge outside of the stars. Like if you look at Miles McBride, if you look at guys like Obi Toppin played really good ball too. Like I think everyone on that team, on that Knicks team, is just gritty. They play hard basketball. They're pretty young too, so you can't really factor in like dead legs or tiredness with that Knicks team because they're a little bit younger. Like Bam Adebayo is probably gonna feast in this next round. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the matchups look like.
I don't know because
Mitchell
Robinson's
Robinson
been great.
Yeah,
Adebayo is so bad, dude. He's so bad.
Like if you put Julius Randle on Bam Adebayo, and then who do you put Mitchell Robinson on?
Well, but there's like a serious argument that Adebayo is the worst of the guys on a max contract in the NBA.
He did not
besides Ben Simmons. Obviously,
series.
Ben Simmons is the worst, but you know what I mean. Guys that were going to eclipse that star status. Like when he was playing the Lakers in the finals, he was excellent that year.
He was.
That year he was great. He was the difference maker. In this series, it sounds crazy to say, but even if he's not a difference maker, the Heat can win if the guys keep stepping up. Because Adebayo hasn't had to do a lot for them to win. And look, I'm telling you, I can't expect Adebayo to start putting up 30 against Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein. To me, it's like, how's he going to do that? He couldn't put up buckets against, obviously, it was Brook Lopez, Giannis. It was pretty hard. But, like, I mean, it's not getting that much better.
No.
Mitchell Robinson had, like, 20 boards and 3 blocks.
Stuffed Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Like, he was
Jared Allen and Evan Mobley haven't really been that great offensively in a long time.
But I'm just saying, give the Knicks like a really good chance in this series. I know Jimmy Butler's playing awesome. But,
I do. But I mean,
Knicks,
it could go either way. I'm just saying.
This is such a fun. This is going to probably be my favorite second round.
I want it to. I want it to go 7 and have Butler score 60 at the Garden.
I just think that the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics or whoever it may be would be so fun.
You know what? I want the Knicks in the finals. I want them in the finals.
It'd be so fun, man.
Well, and by the way, this is where I get into it. what I've seen from Joe Mazzulla as a coach, and I've been adamant about Ime.
Gotta get into that.
I've been adamant about Ime being a better coach all year long. People were clowning me like,
were.
"Oh my gosh, Joe's great. Look at their offense." And I said, "Look, I'll tell you guys, when it gets to the playoffs, as good as the Celtics team is, I mean, look, a groundhog could coach this team and they'd score, they'd get 55 wins and score points. But like, dude, Ime's defensive schemes and his adjustments were excellent with what he did with Grant Williams, Al Horford." Old Al Horford, by the way, who always turns into frickin' Michael Jordan when the game's on the line. I don't know how he does it. Turns back the clock. He had a three, like 2 threes. He did he almost did the ice thing to the bench. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, I think it's that Hawks thing, because he was playing.
Yeah, of course. Hawks, but like, my point is, Mazzulla's an awful defensive adjustment guy. He's terrible at it, and that's why Hawks doesn't call timeouts. Doesn't get mad at his team, so his team is soft, kind of. They're very talented. Look, obviously the Celtics have the best team remaining. We all know that. Like, top to bottom. Roster-wise. If we're looking at roster, you can't tell me somebody has a better team than them roster-wise, because they got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, Marcus Smart.
Depth-wise.
Depth-wise, of course.
Talent?
Well, I mean, you could argue
Warriors,
Lakers, too. I mean, the Lakers have as good as Reeves is playing.
Everyone in the playoffs at this point has talent.
Yeah, but my point is, it's starting to concern me to the point where I'm going to say I think a Western Conference team, whoever comes out of the West, is going to win the finals. I'll say it right now. Just because I can't pick the Knicks in a series against a West team, just because I think that, Brunson's going to be the best player in a championship team, as good as he is. I can't see that right now.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, I mean, the loss of Tyler Hero and Oladipo is going to hurt at some point. I don't know if it's in the finals, Eastern Conference finals. I know they're playing great without him.
Well, they'll probably get Tyler Hero back, though.
By the finals? I heard it was like
4 to 6 weeks.
Was it 4 to 6 weeks? Okay, perhaps. And that would be great, because he's a Laker killer from a couple of years ago. People thought he would turn into an all-star after that. But it obviously didn't happen. But my point here is, and then the Celtics are probably the best chance to win the championship in the East, but it's like, Sixers, don't get me started. They'll choke at some point. We all know that.
Joel Embiid's hurt again.
Of course,
we'll
but he'll play. He'll
next.
play in that series. For me, it's like, okay, I don't care if it's the Warriors, the Lakers, the Suns, or the Nuggets. I would pick any of those teams against any team in the East right now.
True.
I mean, it's crazy to say, because I thought the Celtics early on in the year.
Except the Suns.
Well, yeah, the Suns, yeah. But I think the Suns will lose to the Nuggets. We'll get into that next. The Landry Shamet curse, by the way. We'll get into that.
He made the second round,
seven game 7 loss in the second round. But this is where, like, early on in the year, I thought this Celtics team was the best team since the Golden State Warriors Durant teams. They were that dominant, dude, on both ends of the floor. Tatum's consistency concerns me. His shot selection late in the game.
Really not
I mean, no one can guard him, and he's taking wild threes early in the shot clock when they're down 2 or up 2 with a couple minutes to go. Wild threes. I mean, they got saved by their role players in that game.
I'm going to say something.
Say it. Say it. Tell me.
People aren't going to like this. Jaylen Brown's the better playoff player than Jason Tatum. I'm going to say it right now.
That's not a hot take.
It kind of is, because everyone thinks that Jason Tatum's the best thing since
But who was the better player in the finals last year?
It was Jaylen Brown. But I said that, and people were like, oh, what are you talking Jason Tatum about? 25. They name the stats out. I don't care. Look at the game. Jaylen Brown is a smarter player. He knows when to get to the rim. He doesn't take stupid shots. No, Jaylen Brown isn't the best player ever, but I like Jaylen Brown's decision-making a lot better than Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a hot take at all.
No, it is, because everyone that I see on social media is like, oh, and people really thought Jaylen Brown was better. Look at Jason Tatum's stat line tonight.
Who cares about stats?
Down.
Watch the end of the game. What did he do at the end of the game?
Let's look at a portfolio, okay, of what they did last year in the best stage, the biggest stage of their careers. Jaylen Brown was better.
Tatum choked. If Tatum was good that series, they win that series.
Right. Thank you. Exactly.
He wasn't good.
And I said that last year, and I'm going to say it again this year, that Jaylen Brown is the guy on that Celtics team in the playoffs. And maybe in the regular season, Jason Tatum, sure, he had 30 points per game, whatever. I think Jaylen Brown's a better decision maker. He knows where to get on the floor. He's kind of a better defender, too. Jaylen Brown's a very underrated defender. So,
well, he came into the league only a defender, by the way.
Right, and he developed into this.
Yeah, and he's great. Yeah. He's great. I agree. I don't think that's a hot take. I mean, tell me who you want the ball in the hands at the end of the game, Jaylen Brown.
And let me give a shout out to Derek White. Derek White has turned into probably the best role player in the league.
Him and Reeves,
right? Yeah. Like, those guys are balling. Like, Derek White When he was on the Spurs, sure, he was a guy that you could bring in a backup.
He was good, but like now he's
they turned him into like a Malcolm Brogdon. They have two Malcolm Brogdons, Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon.
Derek White's been better than Malcolm Brogdon
it's
right
crazy.
now. And Malcolm Brogdon's
he
good.
won Sixth Man of the Year.
Malcolm Brogdon won Rookie of the Year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Like 5 years ago.
He sure
like
did. Yeah,
he's been good, dude. Like he was just on the Pacers. Like people don't. No offense to the Pacers, but like, come on. Like no one really knew he could be a big time player. He's finally shown it.
So
I remember I said that after that trade, like, oh, the Celtics just won the championship when they traded for Brogdon. I was like, no one's beating this team.
For what they gave up.
And the only reason why I'm saying this team is beatable is Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. It's Joe Mazzulla. If Ime was the coach, I would take the Celtics right now against anybody.
Yeah.
And
well, they probably would have taken care of Atlanta way quicker. Way quicker. Because their defense.
I mean, Ime's an excellent coach, and I love that hire by the Rockets, by the way. Excellent hire. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, Ime, he's gonna
there are allegations.
He's I'm not gonna say the word.
Look,
but
if he's out there and available to be a head coach, I would hire him, and they did. Good for them.
The Lakers would have hired him. I would have fired him today for Ime Udoka. Today, before the game.
You know how I feel about Ty Lue. I'm not gonna get into that, but
Udoka is a championship coach. He led a team to the championship in his first year. And if Darvin Ham does the same thing, everyone's going to start being like, Darvin Ham, he's the greatest coach in the world. Just do not get into
any allegations, Darvin Ham. Stay away.
I think
from
he's
everything.
pretty. I mean, he's an awesome. He's a politician.
Awesome guy.
He's perfect for them because
for
he's
LA.
Able for LA. You got to kind of be a politician.
Calming
as a head
presence.
Coach.
What was Phil Jackson? Calming presence. Darvin Ham. Calming presence.
I love that speech though. By the way, Darvin Ham said to his team at the timeout. That was like a championship. Like when he said like, I got shot and I still made myself from nothing. I'm like, I like this guy. I love him. I just don't love him as a coach right now. And, obviously, I didn't love Frank Vogel. We won a championship with him as a coach. You don't have to be the best coach in the world to win a championship. Budenholzer won a championship.
Oh, my God.
And he's been bad.
Play random.
I mean, you think he gets fired, by the way?
I think he does.
Bud?
Well, I don't think he will, but I think he should.
What about Nick Nurse for Bud?
That would be awesome. That would be ideal. Perfect.
I mean, would you pick the Bucks to win next year if Nick Nurse is their head coach?
I picked them this year.
Would you pick the Clippers? Would you pick the Clippers to win next year?
I'm not picking the Clippers to do anything.
If Nick Nurse is their head coach.
No, I'm not picking the Clippers to do anything. Those two stars that never play are on the team. I'm not picking them. I am done. I'm done picking them.
So why do you think Ty Lue is staying as the head coach?
Because Lawrence Frank is attached to him for some reason.
Okay, where's Mark?
What are you gonna? I mean, I understand it from this aspect. Is like, what else are you gonna get? Because, like you said, Nick Nurse has his flaws too. Like, Ty Lue is not an awful coach. It's just that
he's a good coach.
He gets attached to his players too much.
Yeah. He reminds me. I said this before of Mike Scioscia with the Angels when he wouldn't play Trout when Trout was the best player in the league as like a rookie, and he was attached to like Vernon Wells and other guys that were old. And like that he had a it's with Marcus Morris.
Yeah.
Literally, if Ty Lue doesn't play Marcus Morris a lot, they win 50-plus games.
If Marcus Morris is just off the team, which is a fault of the front offices as well.
Yeah, I mean, they gave him a 4-year, $64 million extension.
Right.
That's not Ty Lue's fault.
So they gave him Marcus Morris. They knew that he would play him. They gave it to him. They could have cut him. They could have ate the money and cut him or traded him or whatever.
This is what I'll say about Ty Lue. I think he's an excellent coach when he has bad players. He keeps you in the game when the team isn't. He's like
they had no reason being in that series.
He is like the best coach in the NBA when he has like role players trying to play like KD and Book. Like he was great. He got them. He didn't lose those games. The Clippers lost those games. The players did.
Those
like
two stars.
But when Kawhi and George are on the court, Lue is not a good coach. I don't know why. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. It's like when he's playing with like nothing, he's a great coach. Like master class every time is a Ty Lue master class when Russ is his best player. Then when Kawhi and George come back, he's not a great coach.
Who knows if they ever come back?
Okay, but like this year, how many games did they actually win? They weren't even dominant when they were on the court together.
They're 24-14, which is 10 games over 500,
which
isn't like elite. It's like it's good.
What was Book and Durant before the playoffs? I know they were playing some bad teams, but 8-0, right? Like Clippers handed them their only loss so far. Book and Durant.
I don't want to hear about that. Can we go to the other series? I want to talk about the Clippers.
All right, let's go Suns Nuggets.
They disgust
because
me. They too. I'm sorry.
At least they didn't, lead you on. Go play the Nuggets.
They did lead me on.
What happens if they go play the Nuggets? The Nuggets would beat them. The Nuggets own the Clippers. Jokic is the father of Zubac and everybody else on that team.
What did Kanye say? Kanye said when he accepted his Grammy, he said, They wanted to know what I said if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know because we're never going to know because those two guys at the top were hurt. So
I guess, injuries dictate the playoffs every year. I don't know.
Let's move on to the healthy teams, shall we?
Okay,
Suns,
so let's
Nuggets.
talk about the Suns and Nuggets because I think the Nuggets got a lot of flack. I was always really high on them. When they started losing to Houston, I said, okay, maybe it's only a one-series win. Maybe they get to the second round only. But what I've seen against Minnesota, who, by the way, had one of the best players in the playoffs in Anthony Edwards there. He was playing great. And by the way, it doesn't matter no McDaniels in that series because they still were really good. They were a good team.
Yeah.
Like they I feel like they could have gotten 3 games against the Suns. I feel like they could have gotten a few games against the Kings, the Warriors, the Lakers for sure. I mean, they almost beat the Lakers. They almost beat the Lakers. Probably should have won if Edwards had the worst game of his life.
No, yeah.
Thank God for that, by the way.
Banged up.
I mean, if he had like even a remotely good game, the Lakers would be in Cancun right now.
They'd be playing the Nuggets.
No, what I'll say here is I really love the Nuggets. Who's going to guard Nikola Jokic? They have championship players. KCP, we know, champion. I mean, the guy played with an ankle monitor on for the Lakers. I mean, the guy's hardcore. He's a winner. And he was great in the finals for the Lakers. I'm not saying he's a winner just because he has an ankle monitor
Underrated
on.
pickup,
but
Bruce
he's
Brown.
he's tough. The ankle monitor being on in the game fits his persona. He's a tough player with, who has championship experience.
KCP and Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown is a championship player. What did he do for Brooklyn? Why was Brooklyn even the 7 seed or the 7 seed last year?
Yeah.
Why were they even? Bruce Brown was the reason. KD and Kyrie were missing games, right? Last year. Bruce Brown literally won them games himself last year. Championship role player. I know they don't have much depth. Like, who's their backup center? DeAndre Jordan might get minutes. And we're like, well, Jokic is like pretty durable. He's played how many games over the past 4 years? 75 plus in each year, like 72 plus in each year. I mean, he's gotten 2 MVPs. He's not going to win his third, but like Jokic is balling.
And
Jokic,
the emergence of Jamal Murray.
Oh yeah, but we know what Jamal Murray turns into in the playoffs.
I don't want to talk about
but
that.
I'm more like excited and ecstatic about Michael Porter Jr. I don't know if you definitely saw this game, but viewers, if you saw the game 4 where they were down 10 with 1 minute and 39 seconds to go, and then Michael Porter Jr. hit like 3 threes, and then all of a sudden it was in overtime. I know the Nuggets lost that game because Edwards was great in overtime, and they were kind of gassed, the Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. is great. Okay, you got Aaron Gordon, great. You've got
borderline all-star.
Jeff Green has turned back the clock all of a sudden. Christian Brown is good, and he's a rookie.
My God.
I like Peyton Watson. They haven't even played Peyton Watson. He's good. He's a versatile defender.
Zeke Naji.
And we're not even bringing up the fact that it's hard for teams to play in that altitude. The Nuggets were 35-6 at home this year, something like that, 34-7. Nuggets in 7. And Landry Shamet's on the Suns. As good as the Suns are, Landry Shamet has lost how many years in a row in the second round in Game 7 with the team he's on? How many years in a row? How many years in a row?
I think it's like 5.
Yeah.
I think it's 5.
Nuggets in 7. And I think Katie and Book are so excellent. Like, perhaps the best duo we've seen over the past, 10 years. Like, maybe I guess Curry and Durant. But this pushes that. This definitely better than LeBron and AD because of AD's inconsistency, and definitely better than Kawhi and George because they're never healthy. But I'm sorry, that's the last thing I'll bring up. But that was just the point I was making. As excellent as those guys are, and I think, by the way, it just shows how excellent they are by me giving them 3 games in this series. Because that's their team.
True.
Aiden is a bum half the time. He plays well, and then he plays terrible. He plays well. Chris Paul is hit or miss. In the fourth quarter, he's been playing well, but throughout the first 3 quarters, he's been terrible. Okogie has been okay.
No, he's been bad. Torrey Craig's been excellent.
Well, no, Okogie's defense has been okay. His offense has disappeared. That's a problem. Shamet is okay, whatever. They have the worst depth of any championship contender in the history of championship
contenders.
Their best
bench player has been Biyombo.
Yeah, he's great. I actually like Biyombo. Biyombo's a great defender, dude.
Oh, my God.
Can we have him on the Lakers? Can he come in and play for Wendy and Gabriel?
I'm going to get crucified.
Oh, wait, that's right. We have Mo Bamba. We don't play him.
I'm going to get crucified for saying this. But Bismack Biyombo is more impactful to the Suns than DeAndre Ayton. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You're going to give me that face? Biyombo gives you defense that DeAndre Ayton is a traffic cone down there. I'm sorry, he just is.
I think it's a valid point.
Biombo at least will set great screens his role. DeAndre Ayton sets a screen and goes to the middle of the court. And clank.
DeAndre Ayton's
no defense inside.
Yeah.
Biombo at least gives you defense inside.
I like the point.
He was averaging more blocks per game in his minutes than I think Wilt Chamberlain or something like that. There was a stat somewhere out there. I don't have
Hassan Whiteside had a PER of 27, 10th in the NBA last year, and he's in Puerto Rico. Playing for what are they called? It seemed like the Guangdong Tigers. It was like a similar name.
Get ready to learn Spanish, muchacho.
Get ready to learn Spanish, muchacho. I love when they're like anybody has a bad game. They're like when D'Angelo Russell had a bad game. They're D'Angelo Russell, a bunch of Chinese letters, and you see translation. Learn Chinese, buddy. Those are always the best. That's why I love Twitter. Even though half the people on Twitter don't know basketball, it's like it's hilarious. It's all like in Reddit.
But I'm telling you, if the Suns inserted Biombo into their starting lineup instead of DeAndre Ayton, they'd probably.
Well, how much flexibility would they have if they didn't give DeAndre Ayton a max contract? Like to me,
they should have not matched
by the way,
deal.
I would have loved DeAndre Ayton on the Pacers. I think he would have been really good on the Pacers. Really good.
Right.
In fact, I think he could have averaged 22 points per game on the Pacers. I think that's a great place for him.
For that team.
Well, because Halliburton would get DeAndre Ayton lobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is DeAndre Ayton best at? Lobs.
And he'd be the 2 guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
DeAndre Ayton has
Miles Turner.
And DeAndre Ayton has a jumper. It's not like he doesn't. Like he
DeAndre Ayton make shots. He's just not right now.
I like your point, and this is why. And it's nothing against DeAndre Ayton, who I've played against. Who I've played against, and he was dominant when I played against him. I wish I would have went. We were 1-on-1 in a fast break, and I got out of the way. I should have went up with him. I should have gotten dunked on. I should have done it for the culture, man.
Oh man, you got out of the way of the poster,
dude. This guy we were 14 at the time. This was AAU. I was a freshman in high school. He was 7 feet tall as a freshman, bro. I was 6'3". I was pretty tall, but like at the time. But like, dude. Anyways, beside the point.
That's kind of the point.
He is so talented. Like he was hitting threes when I played him in high school. He just is lazy, dude. He's soft. He's just soft. That's the problem. He is soft.
Is it mental?
I think it's mental because he has all the talent in the world.
I agree.
He was the number 1 pick for a reason. People are like, "Oh, Doncic should have been the number." Of course, like we know that in retrospect. Or Shea. Well, Shea could have now been the number 1 pick, huh?
Yeah, but you look at it in hindsight, like
there was a reason.
Skills that he had.
There was a reason, and he was blocking shots and playing defense at Arizona, and he doesn't do it anymore. So I agree with your point. Like Biombo is definitely more impactful to winning. Ayton is literally giving you. He's out there for offense and eating minutes. But for the Suns, they kind of need to win the championship this year because it's like, okay, you have Durant's contract, you have Book, Paul is on a max, supermax, right?
He's going to be a year older next year.
Ayton is on a max. Roster flexibility, who are you going to get? Troy Brown Jr. is probably the big
Westbrook.
get. Troy Brown Jr. is the guy they can get for the MLE next year. Russell Westbrook? No, they're not getting Russell Westbrook. But you know what I mean? For me, the Suns, it's like, dude.
So you think it's do or die?
I think it's a great point. I don't think people are going to flame you as much as you think.
They are.
Yeah, but they don't watch basketball like you, bro. Like Biombo was impactful.
Every single second of that Clippers series, and Biombo.
Okay, now you know what I think. You're a Zubac fan. I told you Plumlee was better. I said it 1,000 times. Give me Mason Plumlee, Zubac, traffic cone. He's a traffic cone half the time. Sometimes he looks like Wilt Chamberlain defensively. Sometimes he looks terrible. In his offense, he's DeAndre Ayton. They're like the same player, dude.
No, DeAndre Ayton has a jump shot at least.
Okay, Zubac doesn't.
No.
And that's why I said to this day.
Zubac is a better
This
blocker,
is why I said to this day,
blocker.
I know the contract. Everyone's like, oh, the contract, only $11 million a year, so great. I would have given Hartenstein the money, bro.
Oh, my God. Don't get into that. They signed John Wall over Isaiah Hartenstein.
Oh, not only that, I would have extended Hartenstein, gave him Zubac's money. And signed Plumlee. Traded for Plumlee.
Zubac and Hartenstein is there. Plumlee.
By the way, Plumlee was looking like Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson late in the game against the guy. He was dominating. He single-handedly got him back in the game.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Plumlee was dominating Ayton because they left Plumlee in the starter minutes.
Yeah.
And Plumlee was dominating DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
And he has the nerve to go out there and call himself dominating. Stop it. I
mean, Mason Plumlee's also good.
Well, yes, and the Clippers have his bird rights, which I'm very happy about.
They need to re-sign him. You're not going to have an MLE. That's your big guy to retain.
No,
you have
Russ.
Bones. You're not getting Russ unless he signs for vet minimum, which is possible considering he loves the Clippers.
Good luck going somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean Miami, him and Jimmy Butler.
I've always thought that Russ to Miami was a perfect fit.
I think they kind of
grind, hustle, effort, energy.
He gives you that. And as a human being and as a teammate, he's a great teammate and a great human being. The thing on the Lakers is like, It just wasn't a good
It
fit.
just isn't. It just
It was better for both sides. The Lakers started winning, and then Westbrook started winning, and the Clippers started winning. It wasn't Westbrook's fault that they lost to the Suns. He only played bad in one game? Even the game he was bad in game 1, he had the block.
Excellent defense.
And he kept them in each game in the other 2 games. So, I mean, for me, I just like the Nuggets so much. I think Jokic is – we talk about the best players still in the playoffs. Butler, who else? Book, Durant. Jokic got to be up there.
Embiid when healthy?
Well, Embiid, he had 12 points before he got hurt that one time. Embiid is not the greatest postseason player. We've seen this.
He's good. But upper echelon, KD, Book, and
this is crazy to say, that 76ers Raptors series.
Murray?
The 76ers Raptors series, who were the guys that kept him in the game? It was Butler and Ben Simmons, believe it or not. Embiid played great. And Embiid played great. No, but Ben Simmons looks like freaking Magic Johnson in that series.
That's when he was really good.
Magic Johnson in that series. And Jimmy Butler was great. Embiid was good, and he's always going to be good in the playoffs because he's a great player. But, for me, it's I want to see Embiid take that step up. Where's the 51 he had against the Celtics?
That's what I want to see.
Where's the 51 he had in the regular season against the Celtics?
See it. I don't know if it's the playoff defensive intensity. Do you think that's what it is?
I think he's
they notch it up and he's just not ready for it?
Embiid was so injury prone throughout his career. He's played a lot of games 2 years in a row. I think it gets to him in the playoffs. He's had an injury
every playoffs.
Yeah, because he is so strong and big, and he's so talented. He falls all. Well, that's beside the point. I think the point is he's afraid to go and get 50. I feel like because he's afraid he'll get hurt.
I feel like Harden plays the same way sometimes.
Harden just is hit or miss.
Yeah, I just don't.
He gives you a flash
Sixers
of
team. I just don't. I can't gauge him. Just like the Lakers, where it's one game they'll look like a contender, and one game it'll be why are these guys on max contract?
I mean, the 76ers are glad they have Tyrese Maxey, right? I mean, he's their most consistent guy right now.
Tobias Harris is even playing okay.
Yeah, this is the best I've seen Tobias Harris. He looks good.
And you have those guys, and then you have your stars being that bad. I guess it's reason to be optimistic because
and Melton's good. Melton's really good.
I guess it's reason to be optimistic because you look at it and you go, okay, our stars aren't playing their best ball, and we're still winning series, but in 5 games,
Yeah, I get that. I get that for sure. But I'm just saying, people are disrespecting the Nuggets. I feel like they're going to win in 7. Do you have thoughts there? You think they win in 7?
Think they win in 6?
6? Okay.
I do not trust the Suns at all. They're going to get tired. They're going to get worn out even more against this.
And
team.
even I know I mentioned I don't love Joe Mazzulla. I still think the Celtics win in 6.
Me too.
6. I think the Sixers. This is the first Sixers team that has enough depth to push a series.
This is
against
the most
really
confident
good.
I've been in a Sixers team.
Yeah, I mean Doc Rivers is still their coach, and I've said it 1,000 times. By the way, I think it's a successful season for the Sixers if they win this series.
Get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah,
right. Just like the Lakers just needed one series. To me, that's a successful season considering where they started. I know some Laker fans are always, and look, I guess that from the history of the organization, it's every year is a championship or bust. It's like the Yankees, even though the Yankees haven't won in 15 years. It's the expectation. No one's ever happy with the Yankees if they get to the. They've gotten to how many pennant
They got to
series?
the ALCS last year, and people were this team sucks.
They've gotten to the ALCS 4 out of 5 years, dude.
People want Aaron Boone fired.
Bro, I'd love to go to the ALCS. Come on, bro. I'm an Angels fan.
I would love to have the Clippers do. These teams are just spoiled. These teams are so spoiled. I just wish just one finals appearance. Oh my god.
You don't even care if you lose that finals.
No, I just want to get there. I want to feel what it's like to be a fan in the finals. I never felt that before.
Oh, I feel so
bad.
Unless
I switch
to
the team.
I feel so bad.
Switch to the.
Who are you gonna switch to? Lakers? Just don't switch to the Celtics.
No, because you know what? If I switch to the Lakers, they'd probably choke because I think I'm cursed.
Please bet against them tonight.
I know.
Root for the Grizzlies.
Let's
you
go,
want my Bane
Grizzlies.
jersey? I have a Bane jersey. Put it on. Please wear it tonight.
I feel like I'm cursed. That's probably what it is.
Desmond Bane.
Watch, as soon as I start to root for another team, the Clippers are going to win the title.
Yeah. Next year, you become a Heat fan. All of a sudden, they win the title. Who would you? Raptors?
I want a team that's that. Well, first of all, is healthy.
That's number one.
I need a healthy team, but probably the Bucks because I just feel like they're a really structured organization. I want a good organization. Maybe I know the Kings haven't won anything. I can't root for them. I want a team. I like
that's Lakers.
No.
Oh yeah, but then we'll start losing, like you said. Okay, so no Lakers, no Celtics. Maybe then they'll start losing.
I like the Celtics. As a Clippers fan, I like the Celtics. I know Lakers.
And that's why they haven't won a championship since 08. I guarantee you hated the Celtics in 08.
I did.
And that's why they won a championship.
Oh my God!
You gotta hate the Lakers again.
Dude, hate
the Lakers,
we're
please.
putting everything all together right now.
Please hate the Lakers. Please hate them. Do not root for them. I know you said Warriors, Lakers. You're rooting for the Lakers. Root for the Warriors, please.
I can't do that.
Oh God, that means we're gonna
can't
lose.
do that.
That means we're gonna lose, though. Oh. And you root for the Angels too sometimes.
I do.
That's why we suck.
Well, I root for the Dodgers. That's why they suck. That's why they haven't won a title either.
Oh, they have a fake title.
That's not a title.
Mickey Mouse
that's
title.
That's not a title. I'm wearing the hat, but that's not a title. I want them to win a full title.
I think they're fans. They have some of the best fans in the world, the Dodgers. I'm not a Dodger fan. They have like the most diehard fans ever. Those fans deserve a real ring. They ain't getting it this year.
No.
That's beside the point. That's
we gotta
beside
end
the
this.
point.
We're getting way off.
We're getting way off topic, but that's the Baller Sports Dialogue podcast. Second round playoff matchup show outlook. It's your co-host Brandon Deutsch-Graham, presented by the Sporting Tribune. Thank you guys so much for listening.